Hey y'all, it's Missniecytv and I'm here to do a review for Sistas Season 7, Episode 8. The episode starts off with Andy meeting with some guy, and it turns out that he's a private investigator who is also her friend from college. She hired him so that she could get some information on Gary, and he definitely did his big one and came through with the information. He tells her that Gary is a devil in a pinstripe suit and she needs to run as fast as she can. He also tells her that the information was so hard to find because he had to dig so deep to find it. She's like, I just want Gary out of my life forever. And he's like, well, call me if you need anything, don't be a stranger. He's like, by the way, Jordan's story checks out and he's just a victim of dirty politics. So the private investigator friend leaves and Fatima rushes into Andy's office and she's like, girl. Andy's like, what? I'm busy. Fatima's like, no, girl, there's really somebody here to see you. And that's when Miss Willis walks in the office and she's like, Miss Barnes, this is Miss Marie Willis, the billionaire mogul. And Miss Willis is like, drop the Willis because I'm here to get a divorce, so I won't be Willis no more. Miss Marie is like, are you Andrea Barnes? And Andy can't seem to find her tongue because she's lost for words. And Miss Willis is like, I'm not here for that mumbo jumbo mess. Andy says yes, and Miss Marie tells Fatima to shut the door, and then she tells Andy, I don't want nobody in my business, but I'm here to divorce my husband of 15 years because he had his fun, and I want to have mine, and I want to make sure he gets no cent of my money. And Andy's like, I can assure you that will be done. Miss Willis wants to hire Andy, but she's also very hesitant because she doesn't know if Andy's fit for the job, and Andy tries to assure her. Miss Marie also lets Andy know that she had breakfast with Jordan to see if he was throwing away her campaign money. And she's also like, I hope you ripped Jordan new butthole because of these allegations. And Andy's like, of course, we had a conversation. She also lets Andy know that Jordan isn't lying about this whole scandal thing because she's been with a man for 15 years and she could tell when somebody's lying. Over at the hospital, Sabrina's done with her appointment for freezing her eggs and she's talking to the nurse and the nurse is telling her that everything will be okay. It turns out that Karen has a DNA test appointment the same day because Karen realizes that Sabrina's hidden there and she's like, Sabrina? Sabrina's like, what are you doing here? Sabrina's like, I was just here because I was doing the freezing of the eggs. I had to take hormone shots and all this other stuff. It was a lot. Karen's like, I'm here for a regular checkup. And Sabrina caught the lie because she's like, well, weren't you just here for a checkup? Is everything okay? Karen's like, yeah, I just want another one. But Karen eventually comes out and says she's here to get a DNA test with Zach. Sabrina's like, I can't believe you actually agreed to it. Karen's like, yeah, I didn't agree to it for them. I agreed to it for me because I'm tired of all the questions. Sabrina's like, is Zach coming? Karen's like, yeah, he should be here any minute now. Over at the law firm, Hayden's coming and he's like, why am I getting patted down in my own office? Fatima's like, Andy's in there talking to Mary Willis right now, so that's probably why. Hayden's like, you lied. How did she get an A-list client like that? Fatima's like, I'm not lying. You can ask her for yourself. Then we see Marie and Andy walk out the office, and Hayden's standing there trying to sell himself. Talking about, I'm Hayden Moss. I'm soon to be partner of the firm. And Fatima's like, I don't know why you lied to her and lying to yourself. Maria's like, it's nice to meet you. I don't have time for your sales pitch. Have a nice day, though. And she leaves. Just Hayden, Andy, and Fatima standing there, and they're like, Hayden, pick your face up off the ground. Hayden's like, Andy, how'd you scam a big fish like that? Andy's like, I'm not you. I don't have to plot and scheme. I have nice people around me, and my work speaks for itself. I'm like, period, Andy. I know that's right. You might be dumb in some areas, but you're not dumb when it comes to your job. We see Fatima and Andy talking after Hayden leaves, and Fatima's like, where are you going? Andy's like, I'm going to see my man. Fatima's like, speaking of that, did Karen tell you that she was getting a DNA test done today? Andy's like, that's great. Y'all can find out what y'all need to know. And Fatima's like, I guess. He's like, is Zach gonna be there? Fatima's like, you should be there any minute. Andy's like, well, you can have off the rest of the day so you can be there. Just keep your phone on. And when I tell you Fatima ran out that office so fast, you would have thought somebody was chasing her. Alexa, play I Don't Ever Want to See You Again by Uncle Sam. Over at Tamara's, we see Gary showing up at her door, and he's like, this is what you do. You live at hotels in suitcases. Tamara's like, with all that information that you have on me, you know me better than that. I don't live out in no hotel or suitcase. Gary's like, what's up? Why am I here? Tamara's like, we're just here to talk. Gary's like, there's nothing to talk about. Tamara's like, why you keep calling me about grown-up activities? Gary's like, because I know you want it. Tamara's like, let's be clear, you want me. Tamara's like, that's the reason why you kissed me. Gary's like, well, why'd you kiss me back? Gary's like, let's be real. We both agreed that it was nothing, so Hayden doesn't need to know about it. Let's just keep it between us. Samara's like, well, I need you to admit that all that hate you have for me is actually infatuation. There's two songs that could be used in this situation. Uncle Sam, I Never Want to See You Again, and Jamie Foxx, Infatuation. He's like, you wish that was true. Tamara's like, am I wrong? And then they start kissing, and I'm like, y'all need to be for real. Y'all the most shadiest, grimiest, slimiest people I know. They take their little makeout session to the bedroom and they start getting down to business. And as they're getting down to business, I see something blinking on Tamara's dresser. And I'm like, what is that? I'm like, both of y'all need to be careful because one of y'all could be recording the other one. Gary could be recording Tamara to blackmail her. and she could be recording Gary to blackmail him. But they was both getting down, I couldn't say that, but they some slimy people. So when they were done doing their business, Gary comes out the bathroom, he's like, I know I love you, satisfied. I'm like, Gary, be for real. Tamara was like, it's alright. I'm like, Tamara, stop lying. You know you're gonna be calling that man again. You were just hot off the words he was saying to you on the phone. Now you got the taste of the real thing. You gonna want it again. Gary comes out the bathroom. He's like, I know I love you, satisfied. He's like, Hayden doesn't need to know about this, though. Tamara's like, I can do that as long as you don't continue to badmouth me to Hayden. Gary was like, I was only badmouthing you to make sure you wasn't getting scammed. Tamara's like, the FBI isn't knocking on my door, though. Gary's like, what you know about that? Tamara's like, nothing. Gary's like, pay attention to your phone, cause I'll text you the horse emoji when I want you. Gary doesn't know that he was being recorded the whole time, but I wonder who Tamara gonna give it to, cause they both look bad in this situation. But Tamara's all about money, so she's definitely gonna use that recording to get any type of money that she can. Honestly, her and Gary belong together, cause they don't care about nobody but themselves and what they can get from people. Then we see Danny, and Danny went to go talk to a therapist, and the therapist asked her, how's it been since I last seen you? Danny's like, my life's a wreck. She starts explaining the situation with Tony and his kids. She starts telling the therapist how she likes and cares for Tony and she wants them to be together for a long time. She also tells the therapist that she's scared that his kids won't like it. The therapist asks Danny to tell her about the situations that's going on in Danny's head. And Danny's like, what if me and Tony get married and his ex-wife comes and finds us on a yacht and shoots us? And what if the kids try to come up with an elaborate scheme to get their parents back together and I get attached to them? And the therapist is like, you come up with situations as if they already happened when they didn't. There's something that stems from that and we gotta figure that out. Over at the hospital, Zach arrives with some food and he gives it to Karen and Karen's like, what's this? Zach is like, I bought you some fruit because I know we'll be here. Karen hands Zach the clipboard and he's like, is there anything that I have to fill out? Karen's like, not really, I filled it out for you. Zach is like, don't act like you know me. Karen's like, don't forget I was with you for so long, I probably know your information better than you. Zach is like, yeah, right. And then Zach goes to touch her stomach and they talk about who the baby's gonna look like and Zach is like, the baby's gonna look like me. They share such a nice moment and it looks to be like they would be a happy couple, right? And Karen probably thought the same thing until her bubble was burst. Then Fatima walks in and she's looking at Zach like, I know this nigga not trying to play like he's a happy couple with this lady. Karen's bubble was burst so quick that you could see the expression on her face when she looked up and she saw Fatima. She was so mad. Zach looks up like, hey babe. Fatima's like, hey. Karen's like, what is she doing here? I told her not to be here. Fatima's like, I'm here now and I'm here to support Zach. Zach is like, Karen, I'm sorry for Fatima popping up. Fatima's like, popping up? You told me I could come. Karen's like, you really told her that? Zach is like, yeah. That's when the nurse comes in and she reads paperwork and she's like, Zarin, that would be a cute boy's name. Zach is like, no it wouldn't. Over at Jordan's house, Andy comes over and she walks in and she's kissing him all over his face and Jordan was like, what did I do? Andy's like, that was for getting me the meeting with Miss Willis. I also want to apologize for not believing you. Miss Marie said that you were telling the truth, and my other source said that you were telling the truth. Jordan's like, I appreciate you believing me, but my words should have held more weight instead of you believing other people. Andy's like, I just didn't want to be naive this time because in my other relationships, I was definitely naive. I'm still learning and you got to work with me. And they try to get down to business and do the grown-up. Jordan says he has to leave because he has some meetings to tend to. When Jordan leaves, Andy starts looking at the papers that the private investigator gave her, and she realizes how deep, dark, and dirty Gary actually is. Back over at the hospital, Zach is preparing for his needle, and he's like, how long does it take to get DNA? I watch crime documentaries all the time. Zach is like, I'm glad you came. Fatima's like, I didn't want to be here, but this is my life too, especially if the baby's yours. Zach is about to get his needle, and he's like, is there any other way to get the DNA? Because this needle thing is not for me. And I'm like, over at Gary's office, Hayden comes over there complaining about Andy and how she got the A-list client, Miss Marie Willis, and Gary's like, don't worry about it. And it's like, I know Miss Marie personally. I'll have a conversation with her. Miss Marie invested in me when I first started out, so I can have a conversation with her and let her know who she's truly working with. Hayden's like, what's that on your neck? Gary's like, you know what that means when your girl's in the moment and she just wants to leave marks on you. Hayden's like, yeah, I know Tamara does the same thing. And Gary's like, yeah, Tamara. Hayden, little do you know your friend's messing with your wife. After the DNA appointment, Fatima gets a call from Andy and she's like, girl, you won't believe the stuff that Gary's doing. Gary paid someone to lie on Jordan and I have the proof and I'm going to confront him. And he's like, I'm going to ruin his life. I have all this information that could be used against him. Fatima's like, you're not doing that by yourself. Andy's like, why? He's meeting me at my house. Fatima's like, you know how many Fatal Attraction episodes where girls say that? I'm meeting you at your house. Just let me change my clothes and grab my bag and I'll be there. Over at the salon, Trey comes over and asks Pam for some relationship advice pertaining to Karen. He's like, did I push her too hard? Pam is like, no, you just want to act like Loki from Poetic Dresses. Trey leaves and the phone rings, and who is it? It's Aaron. Pam is like, I haven't heard your voice in a million Sundays. How you doing? Aaron's like, I'm good, but how's Karen? She won't answer the phone for me. I know you will be the only person to tell me how she truly is. Aaron, it's definitely nice to see you, and I hope life is treating you well, and I wonder if you still got your church and you still pastor. Over at Sabrina's, Danny went over there to talk to Sabrina about what happened in her day and how she went to therapy and the stuff that's happened with Tony and his kids. Danny asked for some wine because she's been struggling through therapy today, and she's like, you're not gonna call me alcoholic, I'm just drinking because I've been through some stuff. Sabrina told Danny how she saw Karen at the hospital and how Karen told her that she was getting a DNA test, and Danny's like, finally we could put this DNA stuff to rest. Sabrina's like, I do feel some type of way though that she didn't tell us on her own. I had to find out by prying it from her. He's like, you should feel some type of way because we're supposed to be sisters and she's keeping information. Sabrina's like, well, we might just be growing apart. And he's like, no, we're not. And then Sabrina starts talking about the relationships and how lucky they are about how they found people in the bar and they never. Over at Andy's penthouse, it's time for Andy and Gary to have a conversation, and Gary comes over there and he's like, you couldn't stay away from me. Fatima pops up out of nowhere and she's like, this is not that type of party. And Fatima's like, I know you got it and you say you got it, but if you need me, I'm over there. Andy's like, I don't know what it is that's causing you not to move on, but you need to figure it out fast. Gary's like, I don't want you. Andy's like, oh really, because you stalk me everywhere I go. Andy's like, I know you paid somebody to put that story out about Jordan. Gary's like, who told you that, your pedophile boyfriend? Andy's like, no, I got proof. And the look on Gary's face changed so fast. Andy's like, you're just intimidated by a man that's bigger and better than you. Leave us alone before I tell the FBI everything that they want to know. I'm sure they'd be interested in the details. And leave Jordan alone. He doesn't deserve this. I will ruin my life and your life before I let you ruin his. Oh, and also leave Penelope out your BS too. Gary's like, don't worry about Penelope. That's my business. Gary's like, Jordan's trash. You just lucky he got my leftover. Andy's like, get out my house. And Gary's like, you mean my house? And don't you forget that either. I'm like, Gary, you might have bought the house, but the house isn't her name. Once Gary leaves, it's just Andy and Fatima, and Andy's like, what's in that bag? Because it's heavy. Fatima's like, it's best that you don't know. And I'm like, girl, you might not want to ask her that because you don't know what she could possibly be carrying in there. She might have her bat, her bricks, and other things. Back at the hospital, Karen's getting ready to get the needle for the DNA test, and she's like, wow, that needle's big. I didn't think it was going to be that big. Karen's like, can I just wait till after the baby is born? The doctor's like, yeah, but it's best that you do it now because DNA is the reason why you're stressing out now. And as they're getting ready to do the ultrasound, she's like, let's look at the heartbeat. The doctor looks at the heartbeat and she realizes it is too. The doctor's like, uh-oh. Karen's like, what's wrong? Is everything okay? The doctor's like, yeah. The doctor's like, remember when I told you it was one heartbeat? It's actually two. She tells Karen that she's having twins and the twins are in two different sacks, so she's going to have to test both dads. And Karen's like, this can't be my life. This is about to be a more situation where there's two different daddies to one set of twins. My God. Let me know what you guys think about the episode. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on your bell notifications. Bye.